Let us start by saying that this meeting is being recorded. We're going to put it in YouTube for those parents that are not able to join us today. But don't worry, I edit all the conversations with the parents and I just put whatever we are saying so that the other parents could get the information. But your participation is not going to come up. Okay, so what I'm showing to everybody here is the phone system for the school. Uh, I I recorded this and I put it online, and not even 10 people watched it. So I do all of these things uh, to give you the information, but it is your job at the other end to reach out and at least view the videos and read the emails to know what's happening. I will always put it out there, but I cannot do your part. You have to do it for yourself in order to be informed. So I know that a lot of people have issues with the phone system. So this is the school phone number. It will ask you to press 1 for English or 2 for Spanish. And then if you need to talk to someone in the main office, usually Miss Lisa or Miss Villega, uh, if it's referring to metro cards, letters, and any other office things, you could always press 0 and it will ring in all the phones in the office. For myself and Miss Harris, it's 1050. This is our extension. But usually we are not there. If we're not in the cafeteria, we're helping somewhere else. And if I'm sitting on my desk, I'm probably doing something in the computer that I can't stop doing it. So most of the time it will go straight to voicemail. That's why I give everybody my cell phone number because I could be in a meeting and I could text 5 or 6 parents, answer their questions while I'm in a meeting or in a situation. For the school clinic, you call the same number, you click on whatever language you want, and then 2220 is the extension for the clinic. The clinic is doing vaccination, a COVID vaccination for students on Wednesdays and Fridays. If you would like to have your child vaccinated, you have to call the the nurse's office and schedule an appointment. This is their direct number. So if you don't feel comfortable dialing so many numbers to get to them, this is their direct number. Miss Acosta is the attendance teacher. You could contact her for any situation that your child is going to miss school. You have a letter from the doctor, you have an excuse, and you want to give it to the school. Miss Acosta is the person that collects all of those documents and have files for the children. Miss Ceballos is the social worker for the school. She deals with a lot of different things. And right here is Miss Rosa. I put Miss Hannah. It's Miss Rosa. She works at a program called Astor. If you are working with them, you will know what I'm referring to, and that is their extension. DreamYard is the after school program. That is their direct extension. They are there picking up the phone from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. You will call them and they will answer all your questions about after school. When does it start? Do you have my application? Is my daughter registered? My daughter's not going to go today because I'm picking her up early. Oh, I need to pick her up during the program. I can't be there at 6 o'clock to all of those questions. That is DreamYard question. DreamYard is a separate organization from MS390. So they have files on your children, they have meetings on their own, and most of the time we get to know things when you get to know things. So it is very important to reach out to them if you have an after school program questions regarding DreamYard. Now it's going to be a little confusing because if you look at the calendar, there will be 2 other after schools starting the third week in October. I'm gonna present the calendar in a little moment. Give me 1 second. So I'm gonna stop presenting here. I'm gonna get the calendar. I sent it out through email to everybody, but I'm just gonna go through explaining the different dates. I know the calendar is always very full of information, and sometimes uh, it's a little bit hard to decode, but that's why we're here. Let me see. Can I? Oh, I assume too much. All right. So today we have our meeting right here. The next day for the meeting will be on the 20th. Tomorrow we have the Spanish one. On Monday, the schools are closed. It's Italian Heritage Day, Indigenous People Day, formerly known as Columbus Day. So all the schools will be closed. For those of you eighth grade parents, on the 12th, Ms. Poe is going to start working with My Schools account. My Schools account is the website where parents have to log in to search for high schools. That happened only in the eighth grade. Sixth grade, on the 13th, they're going to have perfect attendance, and those are going to be ceremonies done in the classroom. At the end of each semester, then they do a big one in the auditorium with everybody. Here on the 19th, this is what I was referring to. We have, let me zoom in a little bit. We have the Regents Prep. That is for, well, we're going to talk about it. I don't want to take everybody's information. So we have the Regents Prep starting on the 19th and the extended learning time also starting the same day. And it will be every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This will be in addition to DreamYard. So that is something that if your child is selected to participate to any of these programs, you will have to inform DreamYard that they will have to share attendance or they will have to pick either or program. That is something that we are going to talk about more in the future. So we already talked about the 20th. 21st is the Spanish version. And the 26th, we will have a parent training for the eighth grade on how to complete the application for high school. Remember that high school application is due at the end of November when you are in the eighth grade. So that is something that you have to do at the beginning of the year. And it's almost a year-long process for that. We're doing on the 27th the same training in English, and then something tentative is the October Mass Fest. That is something that Miss Poe will be addressing. Oh, and I skipped the chess tournament on the 23rd. It's a Saturday. For those children that are participating on our chess program, the chess in the schools have a tournament every Saturday, and Saturday the 23rd is MS390's turn to host the tournament at our school. So if your child is interested or you would like your child to be part of the chess program, let me know and I'll point you in the right direction where who to talk to and what do they have to do. Here in this column, you will have my information, my email, my phone number, which is a WhatsApp also. Uniform, a very hot topic right now. We have been discussing sorry, we've been discussing no hoodies, no Crocs, no ripped jeans, no, this is leggings and all sorts of different things, but I didn't have space there uh, to put it. And the uniform is gray top, navy blue bottoms. I know that right now we don't have the all the sizes for everybody, but uh, we are asking either to buy it at the store. I sent out an email last Friday with links where to buy the same items at different stores, or for them to use the same colors for now until we get those uniforms. The problem is that all the schools are having the same issues, asking for large sizes uniforms, and these companies are getting overwhelmed with orders. So we got maybe like about 25% of what we ordered last time. We only have the polos mediums. Uh, so right now we're missing everything large. Uh, Medium, we only have those polos that came in. Then everything else is gone. For the blue sweaters, I only have small children medium, small children large, and then adults extra large a few. But then everything in between we're missing. So hopefully we will get that shipment soon. But if you need a copy of that email sent again, let me know, and I'll send it again with all the information to where to get it. Yes, it's a little bit more expensive because remember that we don't make a profit out of the uniform. So those, for example, the polo, Old Navy sells them for $20, and they have the long sleeves for 25. Our polos is only $10. So um, I know that it's double, but let's try to work so that way we don't have the issues with the uniforms. Um, Miss Kathy, you have your hand.
Yes, when I first purchased the uniforms for my son, I got some of the polos, size small, but he doesn't want to wear them. He hasn't even wear them. Can I exchange them for the t-shirts?
Sure, if they're still brand new, bring them. I'll exchange it.
Okay, thank you.
As long as he wears the gray top with the logo or without it, that's what we need.
Hello,
Okay.
hello. Saludos, buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Evening.
So I was doing my part while you guys were transitioning here. We have a presentation with attendance. Mr. Mercedes, you want to go first uh, of the presentation or afterwards?
No, I'll go first.
Okay,
I have to transition to
okay, no
meeting.
problem.
So thank you again, and thank you, Mr. Duran, and thank you to our wonderful staff. We're moving along. We are now trying to gather all of the data to make a very accurate assessment so that teachers can address and actually assess the learning loss that took place while the kids were either taking remote instruction or had the blended model. And so we're just trying to do the best that we can with what we have, and trying to make students and parents understand that our kids are going to be exposed to a exam in April. And so we want to make sure that the kids are ready to take on that test. And so one of the things that the test is not doing is basically it doesn't really take in consideration that the kids had 19 months without in-person instruction. And so the grade level, a child in the sixth grade is going to take a test that is going to measure sixth grade competency. And so that's how the test is going to be. And then you have the math, and then you have the other exams. So assessments are not taken in consideration that kids went through this process. And so we're doing the best that we can, trying to address the social loss, because our kids are now reacclimating themselves to how schools work. Kids tell me is school is too long. They've been conditioned to be in and out of classes, right? To have instruction, and in some cases, we have some great stories about the kids that we encounter, but oftentimes, it's horror stories where it's really had instruction, right? And so oftentimes, kids lost the fifth grade, um, or they lost the entire grade because the remote instruction wasn't something that they felt good about, or they felt confident about, especially our L's and our students with disability, which rely on the human element to really do the work that they need to do. So we are, as a school, trying to address those losses. We had kids do their DRPs. We're going to be transitioning in mathematics to iReady, so that we can get a sense of where they are, so that we can move forward. Right. Um, on Friday, we're going to start with our power challenge and get the reading going. What we're asking the parents to do is to begin to have to turn now your houses into an instructional space, so that kids can have the opportunity to work after school, work during the weekend, so that they can be able to have um, the time to catch up with reading. And so when we look at Lysel, and something we're going to really invest heavily on Lysel, because our kids can catch up if given the opportunity. And so we want to make sure that we provide those learning opportunities, so that students can catch up, because eventually the ELA exam is a reading test, and so is the math. Math is a reading exam. So in you won't be able to do well in mathematics. So right now you have to learn. And so we're pleading with you, so that you guys can understand that, yes, we want them to take a break, but at the end of the day, our children are going to be assessed with not understanding. Test makers do not understand that some of our kids went through. That's what we're dealing with. The other is that we are, moving with the curriculum, making those. I'm hoping teachers are making those adjustments. They're not just looking at the DRP data, but they're looking at those assessments, those informal assessments that they did, those writing samples that they did. We have teachers now working with the SLIP process, which is they share. They come with student work, and so they share, and they give each other feedback as to how the work is going. So they're working together, which is a great sign of a great school. But we also need to incorporate a system in which you guys can show that we're sending students to high school that are ready and able to compete in a high school. Right now, high schools are telling us that the kids that they have now are no way near at level. And so they might require an additional year of high school in order to actually catch up. In order to graduate from high school, you need to pass the Regents. And if you don't pass the Regents, unfortunately, you don't graduate from high school. And so those are the challenges that are awaiting our students. And so we have to make sure that we give them every opportunity. The other is we've been very fortunate. The randomized testing has produced zero positive. Hopefully, I hope that tomorrow when they come in and do tests, then all of a sudden we have cases. But so far we haven't had any cases yet. The only case that we've actually had in our school has been from a child that was at in our summer program from 232. And that happened towards the end of the program. But we've been very fortunate not to be able to have any of our kids test positive, and hopefully, I don't jinx our school community, and all of a sudden, there are cases, but we don't have any. There's a challenge in a couple of weeks, we're gonna have to change our cafeteria because the city, in their wisdom, decided that they were going to use our school for early voting, and so we have to. Um, we're losing our cafeteria, and so we have to find a way to feed um, 475 students in a matter of an hour, and actually 2 hours. And so we're trying to do all we can to find ways to do that. We have to give up our cafeteria, and all of a sudden, people that vote in our community are not many. But we're gonna have to find a way to support that agency, um, and at the end of the end, support your kids with the you know getting them to properly social distance while serving them, and making sure that we're using every opportunity, every space in the building to ensure that there is an effort to maintain social distance. And so my question to them was, how am I supposed to respond to the cafeteria when the cafeteria that space is lost, and we depend heavily on that space. But the city decided to do that, and so we just have to make it work. The other, as you know, we don't have a crossing guard, and we're hoping that you guys can support us. Like I decided that I was going to step up and do it, and from 250 to 305, are crossing the street. And I didn't know how stressful this job is. It is a very stressful job, right? Because you have traffic, you have motorists that actually don't understand that when you are approaching a school, a child can cross at any given time, right? And so they speed through the light. And so, the number of people that have, people don't respect, a yellow light. um, and not even not the yellow light. We're talking about people just going through red lights and stuff. And it's something that I realized. The importance of the uniform, especially now with social media, is that a lot of we want to make sure that our kids are safe. That's the first thing, right? And once they're safe, then we want to make sure that we address their social emotional state. And then once we address their social emotional state, then we go in at the instruction, right? Um, we had an incident a couple of weeks ago where several kids came from a different school and actually engaged our kids in fighting. And at the time, you can't really couldn't tell who was who. But now there's more and more students wearing their uniform. Whenever I see students that are not wearing their uniform, I kind of, even though I'm doing the crossing guard duty, I kind of gravitate towards them and make sure and follow them, like more or less with what they're gonna do. But it's extremely important. And one of the other things that I said at the SLT was that even how police officers engage with kids with uniform is very different. They engage with kids without uniform. And so and listen, in terms of the criminal element, more and more kids are committing crimes um, in that middle school than in high school, because there is not much consequence for kids once they reach a certain age level. And so oftentimes what is happening is that older kids are engaging our kids into criminal behavior because of the lack of consequences that the city has for those things. And so we have to be very careful, and you have to be very careful about and be accountable towards to making sure that your kids are safe, especially if you are working, checking in on them, making sure that they're home, and then monitoring that social media, because that we are now struggling with that, because a lot of the issues that we address in the school are not as a result of the kids being in school, but as a result of them being on social media. And Duran, that's it. If there's any questions, I'm happy to spend a couple of minutes answering them. Um,
Yes, we have a question that what can we do to transfer the election polling to another location? Is there something in our hands to do?
Yeah, I mean, we just have to, I had the meeting with them and I said, look, it's a bad idea. Last time we did it was we only had like 9 kids in the building, and it was an easy. Kids were eating in the classroom. Um, right now, I think that we might engage with our elected officials, with Councilman Cabrera. Um, they're the ones that from the they can redirect that agency to at least not engage in that, because it's for 10 days. So early voting is 10 days prior to the election, and the election kids are not in the building election day, but you have 10 days that that the school is going to be open for voting, and the cafeteria is going to be used for the voting process.
Will the children be eating in the classrooms?
No, we're gonna have to, have to meet with the custodian to see what plans we have, so that we try to get the voting. We try to get the voting in a place where it wouldn't impede with lunch, and maybe have the voting not be available during the times that the cafeteria is being used for service. But they said that's not going to happen. And then one of the things that I said, which a lot of times is like, how many people actually vote um, during the lunch periods, and where are we going to um, accommodate 3 or 4 people for 475? And that wasn't a good response from my part, because that is saying that our community don't exercise, the voting
Is
process.
there any way? Is there any way that they could use the gym instead of the cafeteria for voting?
Well, the issue is that they need accessibility, right? And so, if there's any person, if then anyone coming to vote with in a wheelchair or limited, they won't be able to go up the stairs.
All right, those were the questions. Thank you very much, Mr. Mercedes.
Okay. All right.
So we go to our next presenter. We're going to do attendance. Miss Harris and Miss Acosta, are you in the meeting?
Okay. Uh, Parents, you already know because you've already excelled and exceeded at achieving attendance rates that have propelled you to where you are. And I'm sure that you want your children to do equally as well. So, although attendance for some may seem like a minor thing, it is very important. And it's necessary so that we can make sure that students are doing the best they can. So, being in school every day is critical for not only achieving success in gaps, but in their socialization and developing their skills so they can become the successful young people we know that they can be. Next slide. Thank you. As a family, your role is critical. Just as when they first began school in the very early years, as a middle schooler, it's even more important for you not to let go of understanding how important your role is in making sure that they come to school every day. School is that turning point for students. You go to work, their work is coming to school. And absences, as few as even 2 a month, add up very, very quickly. And it is the early indicator that students may be lost along the way and not achieve the successful levels that we all want them to. As early as 6th grade, it is a key indicator. So, for those parents that are on this call, understand that this is their first year in middle school, but we're looking to see what their patterns are from elementary school and hoping that as a fresh start, as a part of our school community, that they're able to turn it around if they are not already in that 92%. Coming to school every day, just like you go to work every day, is something that's so critical that it is intentional, and we're looking to help develop them into becoming inspired and achieve their footing as greatness even in their young bodies. When you do something that is intentional, it can become a habit. So coming to school every day, we want that to be a habit where they don't even think about it. It just happens. And that they miss it so much when they're not there that they ache to come unless they are really too ill to get there. So creating a culture of responsibility is what we're trying to do for them. You send them, we with open arms, welcome to receive them, but we want to make sure that we are truly in partnership and understanding this importance. For our educational community, it is paramount. How can you help? Please have the conversations on a regular basis just to make sure that when you send them out that they know that their destination is that school building. Make it a priority. I'm sure you do already. Try very hard not to make those appointments that would interfere with school hours. We are fortunate enough to have a Morris Heights Medical Clinic on site that can help with some of those clinical needs that you may have and your children may have. So we want to make sure that it is very intentional that appointments are made outside of the 2:50 hour. If it is truly, truly, truly unavoidable, we ask that you send your child to school at least for part of the day so that they are not a full absence, but they are able to get some of the instruction that they need before they need to be out for the rest of the day. Please stay in contact with our attendance department. Ms. Acosta is on the call. You can always email either herself, myself as a supporter, Mr. Duran, who is your voice at school, and make sure that we're just kept in the loop when those attendance issues are unavoidable. We have a staff that has been armed to help be a support if there are different individual issues that are beyond your control. I want you to know from my voice to yours, we have internal members in the school that are going to become success mentors to your children. And we also have peers who we are buddying up very selectively to help with students feel that sense of belonging and they know that somebody is waiting for them to come in and look forward to seeing them and greeting them with a smile and having some kind of social interaction that is positive. So we need you to help them get there. Different incentives. We acknowledge students every month that have 100% attendance. And we know, as hard as that is, even those that do not achieve the 100 percentage rank, we acknowledge those that have improved attendance from one month to the next. We acknowledge classes that have 100%, and we keep a close eye on those who are making those incremental changes from elementary school to middle and throughout the middle school experience, and maintaining an average that is above the 90s. If they can't reach the 90s, we're going to try to give them enough incentives to come on in, join us, know that we're looking for them. Because of COVID, I'm not quite sure if we're going to have the breakfast we normally have at the end of the year, but they will be acknowledged throughout just to make sure they understand we see them, we recognize them, and we encourage them. So please establish a routine for homework and bedtime. Oftentimes the kids are just too sleepy, you know that, and trying to wake them up. Even if they come late, we're still glad to see them. We'd rather them come late instead of missing the whole day, but on time is the best time. Um, Checking their bags as middle school students. I know you probably really, did that as an elementary parent, but please know that now more than ever, making sure that they have what they need, doing that little spot check, making sure that they haven't put in clothes to change into. You'd be amazed how sometimes the kids left one way, and by the time they get to us, they look totally different. And we may end up calling you to let you know that they're not in compliance with the school's policies and rules for the uniform. And you're usually surprised. Lo and behold, they have a whole new set of clothes in their bags. So that book bag check is very important. and just talk to them. Conversations are great. I know you guys are working hard. Sometimes the schedules don't meet, they don't match. But if they know they're going to have a few minutes with you, it means a lot. It means a lot. So, on my final note, I'll say Miss Acosta is here. My name is Miss Harris. I am here along with the entire community of MS390, but just know that you have a direct line to each of us. Of course, Mr. Duran. Our emails and contact information is provided to you. Please reach out if you need additional assistance. We look forward to seeing them. We support you in your effort, and we want to keep elevating them to levels of inspiration and greatness. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Harris, Miss Acosta. If you have any questions, Miss Poe, are you able to read the chat? I couldn't see it because I was managing the presentation.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Duran. Good evening, parents. I am Miss Poe. I've been in the chat responding to some of you already have some questions. I am the guidance counselor for the eighth grade, and I am the person that works with eighth grade parents and students in the process of how to apply for high schools. So I had responded to a parent, the high school admission process workshops, which we will be hosting for our parents, begins October 26th. On that day, we have a session in Spanish, and then the following day, on October 27th, we will have a session in English. It's going to be hosted virtually at 5 p.m. We will send the link the day off because, in our experience, we send you links for our meetings to wait in advance, and you have a difficulty finding the link because you get other emails sent to you, and then it just becomes you can find it. So we make it our business to share the link to our meetings the day off, so you can have it right ready in front of your emails. um Parents ask about applying for the specialized high school exam. The specialized high school exam, you can apply once you open or you create your My School application access. The information on how to create that account is going to be available mid-October. Every eighth grade family is going to get a letter in the mail from the DOE providing you with guidance, directions on how to apply or how to create an account to apply for My School, to apply for high schools. I will also get a copy of such letter, and I will make it my business to give a copy of this letter to all my eighth graders so they can also bring the extra copy home. Again, this is a process that parents need to make an effort and make the time and be available to participate in the workshops that we offer to provide you guidance and to explain and answer to any of your questions on how the process works. Um, and also, parents are the ones that have to apply for high school. You will need, you will be the one creating the account for you and your child and making the high school choices so you can submit the application. This is not a paper application, this is a virtual application. So I also provided my email, both MS390 and the DOE email. I prefer the DOE email since we'll be soon transitioning to only using the DOE email. So both my emails are there in the meantime. Thank you for listening, and any other questions, I'll be around.
Thank you, Miss Poe.
Okay.
There is a question in the chat. When will kids with IP be reevaluated?
That is based on the student initial evaluation. Every student has a time stamp in their IEPs that when they were evaluated. Based on that, they receive an annual review, which was done when it was the pandemic. Now, every student who is due for a triennial or a reevaluation is going to be a schedule for reevaluation this year. So the psychologist is really working overtime because they have like a lot of students for reevaluation. So soon, if you are expecting your child to be evaluated, you will receive a letter and a phone call to make sure that you know and you come to the meetings, which is going to be virtual, but the evaluation for the students is going to be done right here in the building. I hope I answer your questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ayers. I'm going to share something that Ms. Barona put on the chat for those parents that are interested in knowing the results of the COVID test done at the schools. So this is the information. You can reach out to Somos, that is the organization for doing the test. You could give them a call, and they would give you the information on what is the result of the test. They will probably ask you personal information from the child. Be ready to answer. I'm assuming that a student ID number and an address and things like that. They will ask you to um, verify that you are the parent. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there for a few moments. Do we have any questions? Anybody would like to share the floor?
Yes, we have a list that SOMAS comes in with that has kids' names listed, and they only if the parent has signed for consent every week they come, and it's a random number of students in the building. So if your child has already been tested, there is a large likelihood that they won't get called again for some time. So we make sure that it stays random.
Miss Sanchez, you're here. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Hello. Sorry, I missed it the other time when you called my name. Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you for joining our humble meeting.
No, of course. Thank you for extending the invite. um, so I just wanted to toss an idea. I wanted to say hello to everybody. Pirina
Hello.
Sanchez. Now I'm different. Now I'm the Democratic nominee for City Council because we won. So just in the couple of next months, I wanted to just put on the table Mr. Duran and Principal Mercedes, just the opportunity to maybe partner on some supplies and resources distribution. I had just talked very quickly with Ms. Nieves, and I just wanted to extend that to see if maybe in the next few weeks we could do something together for any parents or any of the kids in the school that need school supplies or anything like that.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll be reaching out.
Great.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Pierina Sanchez, for joining our meeting and offering for anyone that has trouble with school supplies. She's going to provide help to those families. Thank you very much. I'll be reaching out tomorrow morning.
Take care. Good night, everyone. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining us today.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
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 Good night.
Good night.